Yo, what's good? It's your boy Jan. We back with another video. Feel me. Today we got the greatest MVP race of all time. Between, at least from the thumbnail for what it seems, the greatest player of all time, the Joker, Nikola Jokic, versus the free throw merchant, SGA, Shai Gilgeous Alexander. Now, this has been the biggest debate of the season, man. Apart from Stephen A. Smith and LeBron James, of course. But SGA or Jokic, who wins MVP? Now, you guys already know my answer. Mine is, of course, Nikola Jokic. Because he's the greatest of all time. And because he deserves it. Like, look at the stats, bro. Without Jokic, bro, the Nuggets are an AAU team, bro. Like, let's be honest, bro. It's like putting myself out there on the court, bro. They're ass. They can't shoot. They can't play basketball, bro. Without Jokic, they're nobody, bro. They're a lonely ass poverty franchise, bro. And in SGA, he has superstars around him. He has an elite team around him. Something that Jokic does not. Now, he has a couple good, decent players. Like, I'm not going to act like their team is ass. No, he got Murray. You know, he's inconsistent, bro. Let's be honest, bro. I've been saying it all year, bro. Murray, I'm trading Murray this offseason, bro. He's ass. He's inconsistent, bro. But we'll see what happens. I know he got MPJ, you know, he's a pretty solid player. Aaron Gordon, is he a starter? Maybe a six-man, you know. They got Christian Braun, a pretty decent player, but nothing too crazy. Their bench is what it's bringing them down, to be honest. Like, their bench is bringing them down heavily. Something that the OKC Thunder have. They have a bench, bro. Their depth is incredible. But hey, man. Let's see what my boy Jimmy Howard got to say. The greatest MVP race of all time.
A few weeks away from the end of the 2025 NBA regular season. And
yeah, man, 2 more weeks.
The MVP race is usually all but wrapped up. But what do you do when there's 2 MVPs? History says you vote for the guy who was leading his team to the most wins of any team in a decade while putting up prime Michael Jordan numbers. Very clearly the best player on the best team, which should make this decision pretty obvious. Except it's not. Because history has never seen a season like the one Nikola Jokic is having.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
This one, and this one, and this one. In fact, it is possibly the most impactful season anyone has ever had. 2 all-time great campaigns, and only 1 trophy. It is the greatest MVP race in recent history, and it has left voters completely torn, questioning what it even means to be the NBA's most valuable player.
Okay.
Today's video is sponsored by
all right. I'll get you back, my boy, but yeah. Alright. Numbers fit for an MVP.
The most compelling case someone can make to be the most valuable player in the league is to put up the best numbers in the league. This isn't the only ingredient to the MVP recipe, but it's a big one. And right now, Jokic and Shai aren't just having the 2 best seasons in the NBA, they're having 2 of the best seasons of all time. Just looking at some simple box score numbers.
Let's look at the stats right here. So on points, SGA of course clears, because he's a guard, bro. Looks like a center should not be scoring more than like 20 points per game. Like, let's be honest, bro. Jokic averaging 29 points per game is incredible as a center, bro. You know how crazy that is? Well, now in today's game, I guess you expect the center to score more. But not really, though. Like, look, how many centers in the NBA score more than 20 plus points per game? Let alone even more than like 18 or 15, bro. Not a lot. The only ones that I can think of is like Wembanyama, Joel Embiid. Obviously Jokic, right? Maybe Jerry Jackson Jr. Oh, Bam Adebayo. I'll give him some credit. You know, I don't like him, but I'll give him some credit. It's not many, bro. Just maybe like 5 to 7 in the league that can score more than 20 plus per game. So it's incredible. Obviously, rebounds and assists. This guy, It's the greatest of doing this right here, bro. Come on, averaging a triple double, bro. Like, come on. And it steals, they both are equal. Second place, bro. Look, a center should not have this. Like, a center should not be averaging almost 2 steals per game, bro. You know how crazy that is? It's incredible. Blocks, he's averaging 0.7. SGA has the upper hand in this by 0.3. But I mean, it's essentially this is like a 1 essentially, right? Field goal percentage, look at that, 57%. 57 is 8th in the league. SGA has 52. It's not even ranked. Free throws, 80% because he doesn't shoot many free throws, right? Look at him. It's 90% free throws. Because guess what? He is the free throw merchant. And then 3-point percentage, our guard versus center. Remember that. Guard, center. Guard, center. The guard, 37.1%. Okay. Pretty solid. Right? Pretty good. Center, Nikola Jokic, 41.3. I'm not trying to crash out, bro. I promise you, bro. If he doesn't win MVP, bro, I'm gonna crash out, bro. But remember what happened last time he didn't win MVP? He won the NBA championship. So, Jokic, he could care less if he wins MVP or not. Would he love to win it? Of course. But he's not after MVPs. He's after finals. Championships. Yeah. 2023 showed you why he was the best player in NBA and in like all time, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, he should have 4. This should be his 5th. So he should be winning 5 in a row right now if they didn't rob him in 2023 because of this agenda of, oh, I forgot what was the agenda again? I forgot what it was. But yeah. It should have been his what was it, 3rd back then, and then last year he won his 4th, or should have been number 4, right? But he won his 3rd last year. So let's see if they rob him this year or not. But look, the stats for a center, bro, that's crazy. He beats him in every category except for free throws, which are not like, come on, it's free throws. Like, he's a free throw merchant, so you can just like discount that off. Blocks, essentially, it's almost the same, so you can discount that off. Steals are the same, so you can take that off as well. The only thing SGA is better than that's better than Jokic, right, is the points per game. And like, it's not by much, it's just by 4 points. Now, it would have been a big deal if it was like 22, 12, and 10 compared to 33, 5, and 6. Now, that would have been a huge difference. But he's averaging 29.1, 3rd in the NBA. It's not like it's 7th or 20th in the NBA 29. No, it's 3rd. He's 1 player behind SGA, bro. Or 2, 1 player. Because if he goes to 2nd, yeah. That's the only thing SGA has over Jokic right now. And obviously the team and the record and all that type of stuff, right? It comes into account. Something you can't fault Jokic for not having a great team just like SGA has a great team. You can't, you know? This is MVP is most valuable player. Who is more valuable to the team? It's Jokic, bro. Look at the stats when he's on the court for them and when he's off the court. Look at the stats when he's on the court and when he's off the court. When he's off the court, they're an AAU team. When he's on the court, they're the best team in the league. Come on. I know I went for a rant. I probably took half of the video, bro. But bro, I gotta make it don't get it twisted now. He's the MVP, right? I just gotta I gotta let it know, bro. I gotta let y'all know, bro. Who's the GOAT?
The screen like the obvious favorite. A near 30-point triple-double on nearly the best efficiency in the entire league.
What I'm saying.
The first player to ever be top 3 in points, rebounds, and assists. Numbers that make Shai's season look a bit pedestrian, despite being historic. 33, 5, and 6 on at least 60% true shooting is a stat line that has only been achieved by 3 other players in the history of the NBA. Michael Jordan, James Harden, and Luka Doncic across 5 different seasons. Although none of them were as efficient.
But here's the thing though, bro. Like Luka, he had this crazy season last year too. And people were saying last year, oh, he should win MVP or this and that. But Jokic won, of course, because he deserves it. Now, if he didn't win it when he had this right here, right? Excuse me. What will make you think SGA is gonna win it? He has worse stats than Luka from last year. He was averaging almost 34 per game, almost a triple double per game, 9.2 rebounds, 9.8 assists, essentially 10, shooting 61.7%. Right? He has less than Luka, less than Luka in rebounds, less in assists. The only thing he has better than Luka is the, what the hell is this? TS? What is that? Target shoe or something like that? I don't know what the hell fuck that means. But he has 64.5. So that's what, like 3 more than Luka? Come on, bro.
From the floor as Shai
Jokic
is this
MVP.
season. However, box score numbers
Jokic
by
is
themselves
MVP.
have never been quite enough to compel voters. Of these 5 previous seasons, only one of them ended up winning the MVP, Michael Jordan in '88. And to pull it off, he had to also be the best defensive player in the league. In the case of Jokic, there's only been one season in modern NBA history that compares to his, Russell Westbrook in 2017. And that season, he was the runaway MVP, receiving 69 of the total 101 first-place votes. The glaring difference between these 2 seasons? The mile-wide gap in their efficiency. Nearly a decade and some of the most absurd statistical seasons later, and the upgraded version of Westbrook's MVP season not only doesn't warrant a runaway victory for the award, it may not even win it. But these numbers hardly even scratch the surface of the impact and value these two provide every game. If we take a deeper look into some of their more advanced numbers, we can see just how remarkable Shai and Jokic have been this season and why the MVP race is as close as it is. To put into perspective the caliber of season these two are having, LeBron at his absolute statistical peak had a box plus minus of 13.24. Steph Curry at his absolute best had a BPM of 11.94. This season, Jokic has a box plus minus of 13.21, and Shai is at 11.58.
Yeah, look at that. Bro, look how many times Jokic is on this, bro. 2020, 2021, 12.09. 2022, let's do the next season. 2021, 2022, the highest ever in history, 13.72. 2022, 2023, 13.01. 2023, 2024, last year, 13.23, and then this year, 13.21. Oh, Lord. Great. If he's not the best player of all time, then what is he? Huh? Come on, bro. Telling you, bro.
It's like picking between 09 LeBron and 2016 Steph.
Greatest player of all time, man.
For the last half decade, Jokic has led the league in just about every advanced metric by about a mile. But this season, Shai has threatened Jokic's spot and even dethroned him at times as the best player in the league.
Jimmy High Roller, bro. Don't do this now. Don't do this, Ben Chud. You don't want to go this way. All right? Don't do this. Don't ever say that, bro. Don't ever say that, bro.
A feat that, in and of itself, is probably the most impressive thing he's done all season. On any given night, either one of them can look like the most impactful player on the planet. And even looking at advanced numbers, the edge is only slightly in Jokic's favor. Crafted NBA has Jokic as the best player in the NBA this season, with Shai right behind him, and then a really big gap, and then everyone else. Estimated plus minus, on the other hand, has Shai as the best player in the league this season, with Jokic right behind him, and then huge gap, everyone else. A quick glance at any of these catch-all statistics will tell you that Jokic and SGA are both historically and almost equally as dominant this season. Fortunately for those who are put to the difficult task of choosing between Jokic and SGA for MVP, these numbers have never been a direct indication of who will or who should win the award. Over the last 2 decades, the best or most impactful player in the NBA in any given season, according to some of the best advanced metrics, ended up winning the MVP award only about half of the time. Many times, these are cases where the individual numbers were backed with regular season team success. But rarely have the numbers alone, regardless of how great they were, been enough to be crowned the most valuable player in the league. In fact, if putting up the best stats automatically made a player the MVP, voting for the award wouldn't even be necessary. So in terms of sheer individual numbers, there isn't a very compelling case to be made in either direction. Jokic's numbers are better, but without more context, their dominance from game to game is virtually the same. So we need to add more context. How are these performances impacting their team? And to what extent does their historic production lead their team to success?
Win. A lot.
In most cases, when two players are having incredible seasons, the tiebreaker in the eyes of fans and voters comes down to how well their team is playing. The second ingredient to the MVP recipe: win and win often. 25 of the last 30 MVPs went to players who clinched either the first or second seed in their conference. And right now, the Thunder aren't just winning more games than the Nuggets. They are the fourth highest winning team in modern NBA history. But recently, team success has held less weight in the MVP discussion than it has in the past. 3 of the last 4 MVPs going to players outside of the top 2 seeds. Nikola Jokic being just the second player in over 40 years to win the MVP, despite his team not even cracking 50 wins in a full season back in 2021. As if the voters have made the decision that the MVP isn't limited to simply the best player on the best team, but rather the player who has the largest impact on a winning team. And right now, there is one player in basketball who is impacting the game far more than anyone else.
Nikola
Here are the current
Jokic.
top 8 leaders in the MVP race: Jokic, Shea, Giannis, Tatum, Mitchell, Curry, Mobley, and LeBron. And here are the net ratings of each of their teams. Shea has put on a masterclass all season, leading the Thunder to be not just the most dominant team this season, but the second most dominant regular season team in NBA history in terms of net rating. And
Really?
for many people, the overwhelming team success the Thunder have had this season is enough to push Shea into the lead for the MVP. But value isn't just when your team wins. It is how much your team depends on you to win. If we look at each team's net rating when their MVP candidate is on the floor, it is clear that the Thunder are easily the best team in the league when Shea is on the court, with an absurd net rating of plus 18.3. This means that when Shea is on the floor, the Thunder are nearly 20 points better than their opponents per 100 possessions, followed by the Cavs with Mobley, the Cavs with Mitchell, and the Nuggets with Jokic.
Mobley. Okay, Mobley. Okay. Damn. Okay, Mobley. I like those. Donovan Mitchell. Hey, we got 2 top 10, bro. You know what I'm saying, bro? Come on. Cavaliers winning the chip this year, bro. Stop playing with us, man. Come on.
The most revealing measure is the difference a player makes for their team when they're on the court versus when they're off the court, where Nikola Jokic jumps out as by far the most valuable and important player.
That's what I'm
to
saying,
his
bro.
team
I'm telling
in the
you,
entire
dog.
league. His presence on the floor is the difference between the Nuggets being a net negative 8 points.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Bro, when Jokic is off the court, bro, we're not even playing. I mean, it makes sense, bro, off the court because he's not playing. So yeah, when he's off the court, bro, the Nuggets are the Nuggets are an AAU team, bro. They're like you and me playing a basketball game, bro. They're LA Fitness team out there, bro. Come on.
Bordering
He's
the
MVP,
worst
bro.
team
Stop playing
in
with the guy.
NBA, and a plus 10.6, one of the best teams in the NBA. For many of these MVP candidates, their team can still compete at a high level even when they're off the court, like the Celtics without Tatum, the Cavs without Mitchell or without Mobley, the Lakers without LeBron, and the Thunder without Shea.
That's what I'm saying.
Steph and Giannis are the only other MVP candidates who elevate their teams from below average to title contenders.
Yep.
But without Jokic on the floor this season, the Nuggets are nearly the worst team in the league.
That's what I'm saying.
Now, it's worth considering who these players play around when they're on the floor. A rotation that tends to keep starters together is bound to favor those in that starting lineup compared to a rotation that pulls and plugs periodically. For example, if Jokic tends to play with starters more often than not, but SGA is constantly playing with rotational players, Jokic's numbers are going to appear better on paper because he's playing alongside a better group. And so I looked into this. How many possessions these MVP candidates have played this season, and how many of those possessions were exclusively with the starting lineup. And it turns out that Nikola Jokic does have the benefit of playing with the best players on the Nuggets more than any of these other candidates play with theirs. 17% of all of his minutes on the court coming alongside the Nuggets starters. For comparison, Steph only plays with the Warriors starting lineup 9% of the time.
Damn.
In most cases, this number is negligible. For example, Giannis plays with the Bucks starters virtually as much as Jokic plays with his. And at most, the difference in time these players see on the court with their best unit varies by less than 10% of their total playing time. In other words, it doesn't really matter who Jokic is playing around. He rises the tides for his entire team significantly more than anyone else in the entire league.
Damn.
In fact, according to Cleaning the Glass, when you translate these on-off splits to an estimation of impact on Denver's record, the Nuggets are a staggering 45 wins better as a team when Jokic is on the floor versus when he isn't. For comparison, Shea's on-court impact on the Thunder projects to them being about 15 wins better as a team. But this is where the discussion becomes a matter of what you value most in your most valuable player. Because while Jokic elevates the Nuggets to one of the best teams in the league, Shea elevates the Thunder to being one of the best teams of all time. Is it more valuable to drag your team from being bad to being in title contention? Or is it more valuable to elevate your team from title hopefuls to overwhelming title favorites? This is essentially what the MVP race is boiling down to. A player with ungodly numbers propelling his team to compete at a level they have no business being at, or a historically great scoring juggernaut who is the sole leader of the best team in recent history. And the answer to this question may boil down to a third and final ingredient to the MVP award. A factor that is often ultimately decided who has won in the past and will more than likely be the deciding factor this season.
A story worth voting for? What the hell does that mean?
In ESPN's most recent MVP straw poll, 100 members of the media were asked to cast their vote on who they thought was the MVP of the 2025 NBA season. The results? Within the top 5, Donovan Mitchell received 0 first-place votes. So did Tatum, and so did Giannis. Nikola Jokic received 30, and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander received 70 of the 100 first-place votes. So far, the media has spoken, and they think Shai is this season's most valuable player. But in more recent surveys asking players, NBA executives, and NBA analysts, out of the 25 votes that were casted, 18 were in favor of Jokic, and
nice. You see, bro? The NBA knows who's the greatest player of all time, bro. These players, coaches, staff, front office, everyone knows who's the greatest of all time. Who is the real MVP? Nikola, the Joker, Jokic. Come on, bro. The media can suck every single walnut out there, bro.
Shai, which brings us to our third ingredient in the MVP.
It's gotta be defense.
Narratives. Beyond what you do on the court, the story has to be in your favor as well. And at the moment, every narrative is beaming directly at Shai Gilgeous-Alexander to become this season's most valuable player. First and foremost, he is the best player on the best team, a formula that has led to more MVPs than any other. While Jokic is fighting the uphill battle of voter fatigue, Shai is ripe to receive his first MVP. He's not just having a great season, he's having an all-time great individual season. He plays both sides of the ball, he is the leader of the NBA's brightest young team, and in a league that's been searching for a fresh face, Shai is front and center. SGA has what I consider to be the perfect MVP resume this season. He checks every single box for what you would want in your most valuable player. He has the marquee performances, he has the momentum, he has the caliber, and of course, he's never won it before. But narratives can also lead us astray. They can allow our emotions to dictate how we perceive what we are actually seeing. And that's where precedence gives us points to reference in search for the most fair and accurate conclusion. It allows us to not be prisoners of the moment, but instead consider the history of the game and the unwritten rules we've abided by up to this point. Precedence tells us that no matter how great a player is, winning 4 MVPs before making it to the finals even twice is completely unheard of, even for the greatest players to ever play. For this same reason, voter fatigue is a frustrating but very real thing. If the MVP award purely went to the most valuable player in the league every season, Michael Jordan and LeBron would each be sitting on about 8 of them right now. Instead, the award sort of blends from one season to the next, taking in the context of everything that came before it and the consequences of it. Decades ago, MVP voters decided that the award was not reserved for the best player or even the player having the best season. Instead, it was an award that had multiple ingredients, multiple boxes that needed to be checked off. But even by their own criteria, what qualified a player to be the MVP was changing all the time. If it was simply the player having the best season, Michael Jordan would have won it about 8 times. If it was the best player on the best team, Michael Jordan would have won it about 8 times. But instead, he has 5, which has essentially set a firm benchmark on how voters vote for the foreseeable future. Voters messed up by not rewarding MJ with the number of MVPs he rightfully earned, and so every player that came after him is held to the same arbitrary, convoluted standard. As one fan put it, sports writers regret not giving Jordan all the MVPs and now punish everyone after that like it's a Supreme Court case and not just something they could change at any time. A case of we do it this way.
So, do you guys think that maybe no matter what, like, Jokic does, like, let's say he does like a 40 triple-double season, he might not win it because they don't want to give him more trophies or more MVPs than Jordan? Bro, if that's the case, bro, fire all of them, bro. Bro, what the fuck wrong with him, bro?
Because we've always done it this way. The MVP award should be given to the most valuable player in the league, but it's not quite that simple, and it never has been. To make the argument that Jokic deserves the MVP because he is objectively having the best season in basketball right now would be the most logical conclusion. But it would also be ignoring the 78 years of history, tradition, and expectations that we have come to follow. Based on the responses to this discussion so far, it appears that now more than ever, the players and the people involved in the NBA from game to game view the award as a reflection of simply who is the best, most impactful player. And the media looks at it through the lens more of story and narrative. And in the end, it is the media who gets to vote. With less than a month left in the regular season, the race for the MVP only seems to be getting tighter with each game. And in what is shaping up to be the greatest MVP battle we have ever seen, voters will have to either stay the course and vote for a player that has built a near perfect MVP case, or make a rare exception to a player that is quite possibly having the most impactful individual season in modern NBA history.
Okay. Hey, WV by my boy Jimmy Hydrola. Hey, man. Look, at the end of the day, whether Jokic or SGA winning, man, they're both well deserving of the MVP, you know what I'm saying? Now, I'm not here to hate on SGA. I don't hate him at all, bro. That's a strong word. Now, yes, I do believe SGA should, whoa. I believe Jokic should win it because obviously I'm a Jokic fan and because he has the stats to back it up. But SGA, on the other hand, has the stats to back it up as well. It's a great year for the MVP, you know, for there's competition for the MVP finally, you know. But from what I'm seeing, it looks like SGA will probably win it, to be honest. And it's not because, he was like much better than Jokic. No, it's because of voter fatigue. And if you're gonna make a player win MVP just because you have voter fatigue and you don't want to vote for another player because you voted for him a lot of times, then it makes that MVP kind of like sour, you know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't feel like he earned it for real, you know what I'm saying? Now, if it was like, SGA was definitely better than Jokic, then it will make him feel better, right? You know what I'm saying? But if they just give SGA the MVP solely because of voter fatigue, me as a player, me at SGA, bro, I'll feel sour, bro. You know what I'm saying? Because they're just giving it to me just because they don't want to give it to Jokic. So basically they're saying Jokic was better, but we're tired of him winning. So we're just going to give it to you just because you're on here. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, man. We'll see what happens, man. What do you guys think? Leave a comment down below. Who is going to win MVP this season? And leave a like, subscribe. I'll catch y'all next time.